Hello and welcome to the Blank Cover Network. I'm BCV Dom and today we are talking about action figures, in particular a new release from McFarlane. It is the Megafig from the upcoming Black Adam movie. We are talking about Sabbac. And this was a particularly good find. I was on a little toy hunt with my good buddy David from Displaying Model Behavior. Check out his channel if you haven't already. And we found a few really good bargains at Forbidden Planet. One of which was this Sabbac. And Sabbac was on the shelf for £6. Check it out, £6. That is such a bargain because this figure has only just been released. Obviously, I went and checked with the staff just to make sure that this figure wasn't damaged in any way, and they explained that it was purely because it cannot be sold online. It came from their warehouse, and because there's damage to the box, they can't sell it online, so they gave it to the stores and said, you know, get rid of it. Move this stock. And they did, because they sold it to me. This is a big bargain. It might be my personal bargain of the year. £6 for a McFarlane Megafig. Now, obviously, the film hasn't come out yet. I don't know much about this character beyond my general understanding of his history in the DC universe. So we will see if this figure is worth £6 once we open him up. But let's start with looking at the figure in this slightly damaged box. So obviously Forbidden Planet, when they're selling these kind of discounts, they put a sold as seen sticker on it. So you cannot return it if you don't like it. You've got to know what you're buying. And me personally, I knew I'd be taking this action figure out of the box. This is not a mint on card or mint in card situation. So yeah, I'm happy to say I've looked at it. It looks good. It looks unopened. I will buy it because even though the box is damaged, the figure is in great brand new condition. And looking at it here, it is clearly a Megafig. It's clearly taller than the average 7-inch McFarlane action figure, but there is a lot of space in this box compared to the size of the figure that's within it. I'm guessing that's because normally with their Megafigs, the size of the orcs in the Warhammer line or Killer Croc or Man-Bat, they actually take up more space in this box. So chances are the packaging is a set size, and either the figure will fit in this size packaging or it'll be a standard figure in their standard retail box sets. So that kind of makes sense that they're just equipped to make Megafigs that are wider than Sabbac, and so Sabbac gets a bigger box than you'd expect for him, considering how slight the figure is compared to those chunkier Megafigs that McFarlane have released in this packaging. And you can see here the damage to the top back right hand corner of the box. Quite a bit of damage. I could understand why they wouldn't sell that online, and Forbidden Planet did the right thing. They showed us what it was. I'm alright with that, and I would take it for that bargain price. What a find. And looking at the back, here's another interesting thing. It is an action figure picture. It is a picture of the action figure with a cool Black Adam-esque lightning graphic behind it. So obviously they're not releasing photos of the film itself because that movie has yet to come out. So what do? They make the figure really pop with some nice toy photography. This reverse packaging gives Sabbac a nice showcase, and I think that's really important because not many people know who this figure is, know who this character is, and this figure is on shelves before Black Adam is released across cinemas and theaters worldwide. So yeah, showcase how good this figure looks with as much real estate on the packaging as possible. That's a smart move by McFarlane. So there you go, very big Megafig box with a slightly big Megafig figure inside. You've seen the damage, you've seen the front, you've seen the back. Let's open up Sabbac and have a look at the action figure. And here he is, Sabbac, and on the inside card you can see you get the traditional McFarlane base plate and a trading card of the character, but that is it. So let's stick to the action figure and have a better look at this guy. Sabbac out of the packaging, and this character debuted in DC in I think the early 40s, or maybe it wasn't DC Comics, maybe it was one of the other comic book imprints that DC then absorbed. I don't know enough about this character. He's kind of an unknown entity, which is maybe why he's the villain in the Black Adam movie. He did, however, get a resurgence with the birth of the New 52 storyline, and during the New 52 era, he did go up against Black Adam and Shazam, aka Captain Marvel, but we don't talk about that. And so that kind of makes sense as to why they would probably be using this fella in the Black Adam movie starring Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, because he did have a comeback in the modern iteration of comic book titles. So that makes sense. And also, I keep saying Sabbac. Once the film comes out, we'll find out if I've been saying that the right way, or if I'm going to have to do a really bad lip sync over this video to correct myself once I've seen the Black Adam film. And FYI, Sabbac is so called Sabbac because he is a demon, a demonic entity in the style of Satan, Aim, Belial, Beelzebub, Asmodeus, and Krates, i.e. S-A-B-B-A-C. Sabbac. You see what they did there? Now, I'm looking at this action figure with no expectations of who this character is, what he does. I have no idea what the film is like. So just as an action figure, I can tell you this is a very striking, large action figure. There are a lot of different tonal blood reds and deep reds all over the paint of this action figure's skin, as it were. And to me, that just works so well. There's something, I think, in the fact that McFarlane have made this figure, because they're so used to their sort of Spawn and horror-esque characters, that they know how to make a demonic character pop. And this really pops on the paint app alone. Really great different use of shades of red all over the figure depending on what part of the body they're being used on. But it doesn't stop there, because actually there's a lot of detail to this figure. There's a lot of work that's gone into the sculpt and almost the imprint of the figure. You have this demonic looking, what's that? Is it the pentagram? The sort of scary upside down star that's been scarred into the front chest of Sabbac. And then as well, you have these phenomenal horns that go up over the scalp on top of the hair and flick up at the end with this great rigid bone texture on top of that as well. And then looking at the back here, it looks like, oh, is that a spine or is that his hair? It is in fact a spine, but made up of skulls. Who knows if that is purely an aesthetic choice, or when we see the film in the movie, if they'll reveal why his back is made up of skulls. Perhaps it's a deal that people make. When they make a deal with the devil, they get absorbed into his body, and this is where it's showcased. But there you have it, this fantastic skull-built spine with tremendous scars stitched into either side of it. Phenomenal attention has gone towards the individuality of this character, even not knowing what he does in the movie. It's really interesting because of the design. And then we have flourishes of gold and black with the robes and the chains all over this figure, something more spiritual and archaic and otherworldly, with these multi-layered robes falling one on top of another and this softer plastic, and then the gold chains hanging off the belt area as well. The more I work with this figure and talk about what I like about it, the more I'm liking it. Like, don't get me wrong, the price was a big selling point because I found a bargain, but now I've got him out of the box. It is easily worth more than what I bought it for. But let's have a better look at Sabbac with our pros and our cons. Starting with the pros now. Number one, and this might change with the arrival of the film and how impactful the character is within the Black Adam movie, I would say this Megafig is very imposing and has the ability to be used with other action figure lines that you might display. Looking at Sabbac, he stands at about 9.5 inches tall, so a good 2.5 inches more than the average 7-inch McFarlane action figure. And because of the shades of red skin tone that they've used on the paint apps, I would say that you could use this figure with some other lines such as Mythic Legions. He'd fit really well within McFarlane's Spawn line as well if you needed a demonic character for Spawn to go up against. And there's nothing stopping you from using him as a big bad in one of your displays with Marvel Legends, or creating a new character for your Star Wars Black Series collection, because he is that more demonic character that will tower above other figures, he works. That plays to his strengths. Now, obviously, if he makes a massive impact in the movie and we can't separate this action figure from the character in the movie, then maybe you'll be ignoring that first pro. But for now, I think he's really adaptable to a wide variety of action figure lines. That's a real plus for Sabbac. Second pro, the intricate demonic design. Now, you can only see this action figure from the front using the window when it's on display on store shelves. I'm telling you now, it doesn't do it justice because you cannot see the design on the back as well. There is so much work that has gone into the design of the mold itself, of the buck. You have this great scarring to make that hideous, scary, upside-down star scratched into the chest of Sabbac. But it doesn't stop there, because if you look along the arms, all the way from his shoulders down, he has these runes, or this ancient-looking scripture that has been embedded into his skin, all the way from the shoulder down to the wrist, ending at his fists. And that's the same for both arms, which you might miss if you're just having a casual glance through the plastic window. As I mentioned earlier, on the back he has this phenomenal skull spine, but also breaking out from the spine as if the spine is protruding from his skin against its own will. You have rips and tears in the skin on either side of the skull spine. So it really gives the buck a lot of dynamism, a lot of character before you even know who the character is. And looking at the skin itself, I mentioned the really great use of paint apps, but you can really see it on the legs. There's veins popping along the thighs, the calf muscles, the shins, all the way down to the crinkled, wrinkly skin of his bare feet. And now let's look at his face and why that also has been done so well. We've got these dark, sunken, evil eyes, but around it we have extra scars and potential runes inscribed into the cheeks, cheekbones up to the temples of Sabbac. Whoever designed this action figure, I'm sure they were given materials from the movie studio to get an accurate figure made, but they could have done some of that with paint, but they didn't. They did it in the sculpt itself, and that deserves credit because it really works here with Sabbac, which is why it's on the pros list. Another pro is the articulation of the figure. I'm not a big articulation action figure channel. Like, there's a lot of other off-camera action figure channels that do it a lot better and have much better technology to do so, but I do want to highlight just how good the articulation of Sabbac is. He has great head swivel and head tilt. Like, that's really impressive and will really help with your displays, with how you want to pose him looking down or looking sideways at any of his opponents in your dioramas. But also we have really good articulation in the arms with the shoulders. Now, I complained in my Ghostmaker video about Godspeed, and Godspeed having the same circular flexible rings that Sabbac has, and it revealed big gaping black holes in Godspeed's shoulders, which didn't work. But here, Sabbac, it's been made much better. The quality control is really good, so actually it gives the shoulders more to play with, more flexibility, more room to articulate. And then you have double jointed elbows, so Sabbac can really fist bump his own shoulder. Like, that's how much the double jointed elbows work. Moving on to the cons for Sabbac. The first one I would say is, obviously I got this guy at a massive, massive discount. I was really lucky, and that kind of proves go on toy hunts. You never know what you'll find. Don't just stick to ordering online. But if I'm thinking about him at the regular retail price of McFarlane Megafigs, do you get as much bang for your buck with this figure as you do Killer Croc, the newly released Bane, Man-Bat? There are so many Megafigs that McFarlane have released that are twice the birth of Sabbac. So, is it worth the same price as those figures? For the quality of the sculpt and the build, arguably yes. But I would say you saw how much nebula space there was in the box. It probably wouldn't have cost much to add some accessories to Sabbac to justify that Megafig price, the same price that we're happy to pay for Killer Croc and the like. So without seeing the film, I don't know what accessories would go with it, but I'm guessing because it's the Black Adam movie, maybe some lightning might have been a welcome addition that you'd use in whatever diorama Sabbac ends up in. So I'm not sure it justifies the standard Megafig price. So yeah, you can count that as the next con as well, no accessories. We know we get the base stand and the trading card with McFarlane action figures, and that's great, but would it kill him? to give us an accessory to make this Megafig really feel like good value for money, especially when he's such an unknown character, I think that would have been a smart move. So I'm putting lack of accessories on the cons list for Sabbac. But I gotta admit, that is it. Obviously the film hasn't come out yet, so maybe there'd be more cons on this list if I knew more about the character in the film. But I haven't. So going on just the action figure itself, there are a lot of wonderful things to do with this Megafig that I think you'd really enjoy if it fits within your collection, whether that's adding it to your DC Multiverse collection, your DC Multiverse movies collection, or playing around with him in your Mythic Legions or your Marvel Legends. I think he's a little bit too scary to add to your Power Rangers Lightning collection, but hey, prove me wrong, take a picture of Sabbac with them and see what you think. Obviously, I'm so happy to add this action figure to my collection at such a discounted price. And just to reiterate, that is proof that you should go to the stores, do toy hunts, see if you can find those really good deals, because they will be there, depending if you're an in-box or out-of-box collector. But let's see if this review changes or grows once we have the Black Adam film on our screens. Thank you so much for watching. If you've enjoyed this video, please do hit the like button and feel free to subscribe. I'd really appreciate that. And I'll be back with another video very soon.